I thought, this is fantastic, I'll never be able to make it, so let's go. So I started, they were very nice to me and said, we think that you would do a nice job with this, something that's abundantly not clear to you in the room today. So I said, okay, I'm going to take this on, and it became impossible.
And here we are.
And here we are, it's very strange.
Yeah. And what you saw in the material is, if I could just be allowed a little bit of interpretive leeway and say, the pursuit of the sublime?
It actually didn't start that way. I was very interested in his character, and it had to do with the striving, the social class thing, which I thought was very interesting. That here was a guy who was of great accomplishment in many ways, but was still extremely upset at himself and the world. And I suppose that what happened to me was that Z took on a kind of a, it wasn't, if he had found Z or Z, or if he had found Z, it wouldn't have really mattered ultimately. In fact, it would have been kind of an anticlimax, because it was clearly the thing that he was using to project all of his disappointments in his life onto, there's the thing at the end where Rob says in that scene where he says, if you basically, I just think that Z won't be all that it's cracked up to be when you find it. And I felt that was the whole key to it. That, in a sense, it was the guy's method of coping with life's indignities. Mm-hmm. So that was the thing that stuck out first when I read the book, which is weird because it's not, if you read the book is quite good, by the way. In fact, it's excellent, which is why you shouldn't read it, because then you'll say, it's good, it's not as good as the book. But the half the book is basically me, or a version of me, should be in the shtetl, 32 degrees below zero, with the candlelight. A writer, David Grant, who's wonderful, going to the jungle. So that's half the book. The other half is Fawcett's life. Right. So I didn't want to do a thing where we're following basically me in the jungle, because I'm not all that interested. Well, so I decided just to stick with a straight on thing, but it was sort of a weird adaptation for that reason, because it was not a straight ahead, okay, here's the narrative, it's very clear, and the script took a while as a consequence.
But then this also became very much the story of the man and the woman, too.
Well, yeah, because I didn't want it to be a biopic. I didn't want it to be only about Fawcett. I wanted it to be, that's why it's great that everybody is here on stage with me, because what I had wanted it to be was almost like a comment on an age, and a comment on not only who we were then, but who we are now. Because in a weird way, I feel like we fight the same battles. Obviously, one look at the front page of the newspaper tells you that the patriarchy is in full force. So I thought
it's a little shaky.
Yeah,
but yeah, in some parts.
In some part, but so I thought that Sienna's character was extremely important because the idea of I've talked about this before, the extension of our sympathies is crucial to making something that has some kind of lasting impact. And that is ultimately what you're going for. And so I tried to give her character as much importance and humanity in the story as Fawcett and Rob's character and Angus's character. In other words, everybody would have their moment to be in the film and to really, like I said, to make sure that the extension of our sympathies was in full force. I hope this makes some shred of sense. I don't know. At a certain point, it's like that joke we do with the Woody Allen thing in Annie Hall, the subtitle, Christ, I sound like FM radio. It's true, I don't get out much.
And yet here you are on the stage, and it's closing night.
It's very odd. It's very odd. The movie was finished 3 weeks ago. Delivered 3 weeks ago. So the idea that I'm here now is incredibly weird.
Back from the jungle.
Yeah, well, it's like, here it is, screen it,
Could we talk about the experience of shooting in the jungle and how difficult it was to get film? And for you guys, I would imagine that there was a certain level of discomfort.
Don't miss the jungle. I don't miss the jungle. It was pretty, but no, I don't miss it.
Okay.
It was horrible. What do you mean? Of course you shouldn't miss it. It's like I said, first of all, speaking for myself, Rob did great, by the way. But I'm, as I said, genetically engineered to be in the, an accountant in the shtetl. So when you put me at 100 degrees and 100% humidity and bugs and the whole thing, and snakes and crocodiles and all that, it was ridiculous. I never told Rob this. Thank God we're months now past. But there's this scene in the movie where they're pushing the rafts very shallow